I did
I think
want to
the
just
outlet.
ask one question is how do we deal with the guilt that we feel?
I think that's inevitable. And actually it ties to the one thing I wanted to add to Erin, what you were saying too, is like having a safe space to talk through these things. Like this conversation is awesome. Friends, like my close friends, not holding things in, like talking, like if I am feeling guilty about stuff, like telling them, or if something isn't feeling good or something doesn't feel right or something's out of sorts, like I'm sharing that and not holding that in. It might be my better coach, it might be a therapist, like, but just having that outlet, I think is also really, or maybe it's your spouse, but like talking it out, because I find if I hold stuff in too long, the guilt grows. Like
Mm.
I find I'm resentful. I just like bad things happen. And then that plays out in all sorts of different ways in my life. So for me, that just talking it through with someone, who's close, like in my sort of inner circle where I feel comfortable and safe sharing is really
Mm.
important.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think just acknowledging that the guilt is going to be there. Like it's always, that's just natural. Like I mean, I've never spoken to anyone who's like, oh yeah, here's the trick. Like, here's how you don't feel guilty. But like, I think it is just a matter of like, kind of, in the same way that you like get comfortable being uncomfortable. It's a huge thing you hear is math. Like, but it's, knowing that that's going to be a feeling and like being attuned to it and managing it. But yeah, finding people who can help kind of talk you through and help. I think guilt is fine. I think as long as you're keeping it in like perspective that it's not like overwhelming or preventing you from doing, all the things that we just talked through that are so important and that you need.
Mm. And I love the point you mentioned. Yeah, bad things do happen for me if I don't talk about it. So I always try to have, if it's not my wife, my coach, friends, therapy, anyone, to just make sure that you're letting it out. I always also try to flip it and think, if I don't do this, think about the flip side. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then that helps as well.
Two other things that actually helped me tremendously. One is like I used to find myself really feeling super guilty or stressing out about like, oh, my kid is like eating something that's not like, there's no vegetable on this plate or something like that. And just focusing on like 80-20, like if 80% of the time, like we're doing the right things, we're putting the vegetables on his plate, or, we're doing the good things, like then the 20% of the time isn't so important. That isn't going to make the difference, right? It's the 80% of the time that's going to make the difference. So that's been really good too, for like the guilt and some of the anxiety I feel about some of these things. And then the other thing is just like putting things, Erin, you said this, putting things in perspective. And I find when I remind myself how lucky I am and how lucky our family is and how grateful I am for the life that we have and all the things that we have, that helps a lot too. Cause I'm like, oh God, like this doesn't matter. At the end of the day, okay, he didn't eat a vegetable today. Who cares? He's going to be fine. There's children in the world who don't have food, right? It's like, you have to remind yourself, like we are incredibly lucky with just what we do have, and giving back. And, that helps me too, to feel like ultimately I'm just doing the best that I can.
I love that point. Yeah, letting go and just thinking, am I doing my best? If I'm doing my best, you're not going to get it right every time. Just try next time.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's only so much that you can control. Like the rest of it, like regardless of how much you want to try to control everything, it's like the stuff that you're like, I couldn't even have thought or predicted that's what came in like through things. So it's just, yeah, it's like, oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
So true.
Guys, thank you so much for your time. This has been definitely filled my cup up.
Thank you for sending this up. This is really fun. And it was something I really needed today. So thank you. Thanks, you guys.
Glad you enjoyed it. It was
better. The best people.
It was better just doing it off the cuff, wasn't it, Inna?
It was. I didn't feel that unprepared, actually.
Of course. See, I called it. It's just like, I got it.
You guys made me feel so comfortable. I was like, I can just say what I'm thinking.
I love that.
It's awesome.
All right, guys.
Let's do it again.
Good to see you. Have a good rest of your week.
Bye.
Bye, all.